Racist cops arrest black man at airport minutes later. They discover he's the FBI director. The air in LaGuardia Airport buzzed with the usual chaos. Travelers dragging suitcases, announcements crackling over the intercom, and the faint hum of jet engines outside. But for Marcus Ellison, the world narrowed to a single, suffocating moment. He stood by gate 17, his polished leather shoes rooted to the floor, as two police officers approached. Their eyes locked on him like hawks spotting prey. Marcus, a black man in his late 40s, wore a tailored navy suit, his FBI badge tucked discreetly in his pocket. He'd just returned from a covert operation in Chicago, exhausted but relieved to be back in New York. He wasn't prepared for this. "Sir, we need you to come with us," Officer Daniels said. His voice clipped, one hand resting on his holster. His partner, Officer Reed, stood a step behind, scanning Marcus like he was a puzzle with missing pieces. The crowd began to slow, heads turning, phones subtly raised to capture the scene. Marcus felt the familiar weight of their stares, the unspoken assumptions that had followed him his entire life. "What's this about?" Marcus asked, his tone calm but firm, though his heart pounded. He knew the script too well. Racial profiling wasn't new to him, not even as the director of the FBI. He'd climbed the ranks through grit and brilliance, but no title could shield him from the color of his skin. "We got a report," Daniels said, his eyes narrowing. "Suspicious individual matching your description. Step over here." The officer gestured toward a corner near the security desk, away from the gate. Marcus's jaw tightened. Suspicious individual. The word stung, but he complied, hands visible, movements slow. He'd learned long ago that defiance, even justified, could escalate things fast. The crowd murmured. A young woman, maybe 20, with bright red hair and a backpack, watched from a distance, her brow furrowed. She clutched her phone, hesitating, as if deciding whether to record or intervene. Marcus caught her eye for a fleeting moment, and something in her expression, empathy, maybe gave him a flicker of hope. But hope was a fragile thing in moments like these. "ID now," Reed demanded, his tone sharper than necessary. Marcus reached for his wallet, deliberately slow, and handed over his driver's license. Daniels snatched it, squinting at the name. "Marcus Ellison. That's you." "Yes," Marcus said, his voice steady despite the heat rising in his chest. "I'm just trying to get home." Daniels smirked, exchanging a glance with Reed. "Home, huh? You don't look like you're from around here." The comment landed like a slap, and Marcus's mind raced. He could reveal his identity now, end this charade in seconds, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the principle. Why should he have to prove his worth to these men? Or maybe it was the exhaustion of having to do it again and again. The officers began patting him down, their hands rough, their faces smug. The crowd grew thicker, a mix of curiosity and discomfort. Marcus's thoughts drifted to his daughter, Lena, waiting at home for him to help with her college applications. He'd promised her he'd be back in time for dinner. Now he wasn't sure he'd make it. "Anything you want to tell us?" Reed asked, stepping closer, his breath sour with coffee. "Make this easier on yourself." Marcus's eyes flicked to the crowd again, landing on the red-haired woman. She was closer now, her phone raised, recording. But she wasn't alone. An older man, maybe 60, with a gray beard and a worn denim jacket, pushed through the onlookers. His face was weathered, but his eyes burned with something fierce. "Hey!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the murmurs. "What's he done? You got no right to harass him like this." The officers froze, startled. Daniels turned, his hand still on Marcus's arm. "Stay out of this, old man," he snapped, This doesn't concern you. Doesn't concern me? The man shot back, stepping closer. I'm a retired cop, 30 years on the force. I know what this looks like, and it ain't right. The crowd gasped, the tension spiking. Marcus's heart skipped a beat. A retired cop? This was the twist he hadn't seen coming. The old man, who introduced himself as Tom Whitaker, didn't back down. I saw you zero in on him the second you walked in. No reason, just the color of his skin. I've seen it too many times, and I'm done staying quiet. Danielle's face reddened, but Reed stepped forward, trying to regain control. We're following protocol. We got a tip. A tip? Tom scoffed, loud enough for the crowd to hear. You mean some vague call about a suspicious black man? You think we don't see through that? The crowd stirred, some nodding, others whispering. The red-haired woman kept filming, her hands trembling but steady enough to capture every word. Marcus seized the moment. Officers, he said, his voice cutting through the chaos. I'm going to reach into my pocket for my badge. Slowly, Zun. System. Racist cops arrest black man at airport minutes later. They discover he's the FBI director. Continued. Badge. He moved slowly, pulling out the sleek black wallet with the gold FBI seal. The officer's eyes widened as he flipped it open, revealing his title. Director Marcus Ellison, Federal Bureau of Investigation. The air seemed to freeze. Danielle's grip on Marcus's arm loosened, and Reed's smirk vanished. Director, Daniel stammered, stepping back. Sir, we didn't know. You didn't ask, Marcus said, his voice low but laced with steel. You assumed. The crowd erupted in murmurs, some cheering, others shaking their heads. The red-haired woman lowered her phone, her eyes wide with awe. Tom Whitaker crossed his arms, a grim smile on his face. Marcus straightened, his authority palpable now. You profiled me based on nothing but a vague tip and your own biases. I could have been any teacher, a doctor, a father just trying to get home. But you saw my skin and decided I was a threat. His words hung heavy, and the officers shrank under their weight. This isn't just about me. It's about every person who's been stopped, searched, or worse because of how they look. Daniels mumbled an apology, but Marcus raised a hand. Save it. I want a full report on this incident by tomorrow. And you'll both be attending mandatory bias training. He turned to the crowd, his gaze softening. Thank you, he said, nodding to Tom and the red-haired woman. Your voices matter. As the officers retreated, Marcus approached Tom. You didn't have to step in, but I'm glad you did. Tom shrugged, his eyes tired but resolute. I've seen too many good people hurt by bad cops. Had to draw a line somewhere. Marcus clasped his hand, a silent bond forming between them. The red-haired woman, whose name was Sarah, approached shyly. I posted the video online, she said. People need to see this. Marcus nodded. They do. Keep shining a light. He walked away, the weight of the moment lingering. He thought of Lena, of the world he wanted for Hera, world where justice wasn't a fight but a given. He wasn't there yet, but today, with Tom's courage and Sarah's camera, felt like a step. The video spread like wildfire online, sparking debates about race, power, and accountability. Marcus made it home for dinner, hugging Lena a little tighter that night. He knew the fight wasn't over, but he also knew he wasn't alone. What do you think? Where do we draw the line between safety and prejudice? And how do we build a system that's truly just?